Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Spiritual Insight Show. I am Reverend Tiffany White Sage Woman. This show is brought to you by True Psychics Network. So check out truepsychicsnetwork.com today. There's so much information on that website. It is a network for holistic professionals. You'll find so many there, and it grows every month. We seem to have new members join every month. But like I said, it's not just for psychics. It is for holistic professionals. All right, well, welcome to the show. I did not have a show last week. If I took a break because I had a house full of people unexpectedly. So I knew I wasn't going to be able to have a show, without any kind of distractions. So here we are. Hello, everyone. If you're watching this live, hello, everyone in chat. Hello, Brian. If you're watching the show live, you have an opportunity to join the chat room, and you can chat with others who are watching this live as well. And even if you're watching in archives, just thank you so much for watching, taking the time out of your schedule, out of your day or evening, whenever you're watching the show. Thank you so very much. And so we have a great show for you today. At least hope so anyway. But the topic today, and we'll go over the topic more in a little bit, is the art of listening. The art of listening. This is a great reminder for us all. So we'll get to that in a few moments. But first, I would like to just ask everyone how the energies are just increasingly getting more energized, and sometimes it feels like you're on a energetic roller coaster. But I noticed this week that the energies really feel very high, and that is because the full moon is Thursday. So it's increasing each day as we get closer to the fullest point of the moon. So just always good to take note, take inventory of how you're feeling, and allow yourself to take some breaks, take some deep breaths, and just and get on with the day. Even if you have to take a day of where you're just going to throw the covers over your head and that's it. Hey, you know what? We've got to have days like that too. So it's I remember a spiritual teacher telling me years ago to take a day off, and he got right to my heart when he said this. Okay, it was like, totally, let's just bypass the brain here on this, but he had told me to take a day off, and I'm a workaholic. I can admit that. I definitely am. And it's a Capricorn. I can multitask and I can handle a lot of things, so I'm efficiently getting things done at a very fast rate. But you have to be careful that you're not getting so much done that you're not taking care of yourself. All right. And so the whole giving and receiving, give of your time and your talent, but you have to receive rest as well. And so he's like, take a day off, and he goes, I don't even want you to get out of your pajamas, stay in your pajamas. Because that thought devastated me at first. I was like, oh, what? Get out of my pajamas? Not be dressed in case somebody pops by or I need to go out in public? Not that I'd go out in my pajamas, but you know what I'm saying. It's just be ready. Then I realized that just being in my pajamas longer than a specific time, I equated it to laziness. I healed that, because now I've totally embraced, and I got this message about 7-8 years ago, and it's taken me this long to now, I'm having a pajama day and I don't care. I can do it now and not feel bad about it. I'll still do computer work or work in my pajamas. Get phone readings. No one knows what you're wearing, right? Anyway, but the whole point is to rest, and And you have to define what is rest and relaxing for you. What's resting and relaxing for me may not be relaxing for you. So it's all getting to know ourselves, right? Know thyself. Anyway, if you do notice the increase in energies this week, that is why. It's because we are approaching the full moon on Thursday. All right, so we like to always start the show with the numerology, or the number of the day. And today is March 3rd, 2015. So we know that March is the number 3. It's number 3 day. And 2015 is number 8. So if we are to add, and let me back up for a moment. I'm sorry, I got ahead of myself. For those of you maybe who are watching the show for the first time and maybe are unfamiliar with numerology, numerology takes any type of number, how many digits, takes it down to a single digit between 1 and 9. You keep adding it down until you get 1 digit. All right? So again, like today's date, 3 plus 3 plus the year 2015, because we use the complete date. And the 2015 is a number 8 year. So 3 plus 3 plus 8, if you'd add those up together, is 14. And then 1 plus 4 is 5. So today is a 5 vibrational day. And the number itself, number 5, has a lot of energy and action. Oh, good, just what we need, double dose of energy. You feel full of power and excitement and ready to face every challenge that this day puts in front of you. You are probably going to feel more uninhibited than usual today. It's a good day to try something new or to change something in your life. Meeting new people and socializing helps to broaden your horizons. So this is a good day not to have a pajama day and go nowhere. Today is a good day of socializing and taking advantage of the energy, all right, that high energy. So, and speaking of daily numerology, Jane Alton, who is the UK's #1 numerologist, she puts her daily numerology post in the True Psychics Network online magazine. You can find that by going to the True Psychics Network website. Click on the magazine tab, and you will see her daily numerology. You'll see little, we call show blurbs about each of the upcoming shows, and then some interesting articles from time to time. We really need to have some more articles put in there. Got to find some more writers. So if you like to write any type of spiritual, metaphysical articles, please contact me. I'd love to feature your articles in the TPN magazine. And also another great feature of True Psychics Network, I mean, and there are so many, is the horoscopes. Each week a member, one of the holistic professionals of True Psychics Network, channels the messages for the week. And this week the messages are channeled by the lovely Sherry Scott. So please check those out and see what energies are favorable for you this week, this full moon week. Woo! All right. Also, go to my website. My personal website is whitesagewoman.com. Right there on the front page, if you'd like to subscribe to my newsletter or just sign up for that, that would be greatly appreciated. Now, you will have to confirm that. Once you subscribe, you're going to get a confirmation email, and you'll have to click on that. Because I've seen that some people have subscribed, but they didn't get the email, which means they're not going to get any of the newsletters that's sent out. And I don't spam, and so if you get 2 or 3 from me a month, that's a lot. So I know, it's like I probably need to write some more, but I'm always just don't want to fill people's mailboxes up, the email boxes. But so anyway, if you are interested in doing that, please subscribe. All right, so also would like to let you know that one of True Psychics Network advertisers is the Door Opener. It's Connecticut's leading resource for spirituality, holistic health, and metaphysics, the Door Opener magazine. Well, I think it's for 3 months. Yeah, March, April, and May issue has just been released. It's the door opener. And they have an online version as well. If you just wanted to go to online, and you can read the digital copy online, and I do believe it's dooropener.com. But you can find the it's www.dooropenermagazine.com. But you can see that this is one of the advertisers on True Psychics Network. If you go to the True Psychics Network website, scroll down where advertisers are, Door Opener is one of the advertisers, and each advertising banner is linked. So if you clicked on the Door Opener one, it will take you right to that website, and you could read the current issues online digital copy. So highly encourage it. A lot of great articles in there, and I write for it periodically. Another member of True Psychics Network, Reverend Heather DeLusso, she writes for it as well. So it's very exciting. It's not just for those in Connecticut, even though it's called Connecticut's, because Connecticut's in the middle and New England. It really does cover events and practitioners in Rhode Island and Massachusetts, sometimes New Hampshire, Maine, some in New York. So it's very beneficial to check this out if you're in the New England area and like to attend some local events, or just even, like I said, to read some of these spiritual and metaphysical articles. They're very uplifting. So I like to me it's like Christmas every time the Door Opener magazine comes in my mailbox. I'm like, oh, look. Grab my cup of coffee, sit down with the magazine, and put the do not disturb sign. Shh, be quiet. I'm reading my magazine. I'm reading my current Door Opener. Take a sip of water here. So, all right. Now, let's get to the crystal and gemstone message of the week. The crystal and gemstone for this week is tourmaline. Tourmaline. Tourmaline helps to realign physical structures of the body and your connection to the energies of this planet. Isn't it beautiful? And what better gemstone and what better realignment, physical realignment, than during the full moon week? We really are sensitive to the movement of the movement of the moon. Ooh, almost like a tongue twister there. Movement of the moon. But we really are very sensitive to anything that happens with changes within the earth. Weather, and a lot of us are experiencing some pretty drastic weather. Whether it's weather, earthquakes, volcano, if a volcano erupts, it really does affect us all. The scale and the level of whether we feel it or not is going to be different, but it does affect us all. So tourmaline is the crystal and gemstone for the week. I also like to do the spirit power animal message for the week as well. And this week, it's very interesting. I had to, I love my birds. And I had to, at first I thought it was a crow or a raven, and I was like, come on, tell me who you are. And I have to put my excitement aside and not just jump to the conclusion of this is who it is. But a magpie showed up, which magpie is the cousin of the crow and the raven, right? So the message is, and the characteristics of the magpie is, it's the understanding of the balance of light and darkness. Balance. Light and darkness is part of the whole. You can't live just in the light. You can't live just in the darkness. You can't live solely in the positive. You can't live solely in the negative. Balance, balance, balance. All about balance. I have to redo the song, right? All about the bass. It's all about the balance. Anyway, so let's get back to that magpie. Okay, so balance. It's about communication, effective communication. And just so happens the topic, the art of listening, is a very valuable tool of communication. Or I should say part of communication. Understanding messages from spirit and prophecy. So, very beautiful messages from the crystal and gemstone of the week. and the animal power messages, and I thank these energetic beings for showing up with their messages. Absolutely, they are energetic beings. They are beings. They are alive. Now, it's quite interesting today when I was, what am I going to this morning during the meditation, my meditation time, and journaling, and all right, guides, let's go. What do you want to talk about today? What's the topic? And so I can go promote it. So sometimes I don't get the topic till the morning of, which is why I don't promote the show any further out than the morning of the show. So it's like sometimes they kind of just keep me in suspense. I could promote it without the topic, but I like everyone to know what we're going to talk about too. It's just kind of, just got to have a topic, or so people can know what, I don't want to say what to expect, but it's just fun to know what the topic is. So the topic, the art of listening, actually, I kept hearing "listen to your heart" today. Listen to your heart. Listen to your heart. And then even there's an 80s song, "Listen to Your Heart." I'm not going to sing it for you because I want y'all to keep listening and not click off. Ooh, no. She hit that note. I'm going to stop watching now. I'm going to break your computers. But anyway, so, and it was interesting because here's where I was taking it personal. I was taking it, but, I get that. And I thought it was meant just for me. I was like, no, not for me, not a message for me. I get that. I need a message for the whole universe. Why did I think the message was just for me? I'm going to go touch on this very briefly. All right. It was because I had dated my first husband for 3 years, and we got married. We were married for 2 years. But we met on March 3rd in the 80s. I'm not going to give the year. But we met on a March 3rd. And so I thought, okay, it's the date, it's that anniversary. And the decision to step away from that marriage, the song "Listen to Your Heart" was the song that the guides kept giving to me, this message. And I knew it was something that I had to do. And it wasn't because we didn't get along or personality or anything like that. I understand now that it wasn't going to work. It wasn't part of my mission then. Well, I understood this part then. I understood that it wasn't part of my mission. I understood that it wasn't where I was supposed to be, but I didn't embrace, totally grasp, or understand why. I get the why now. I would not be right here. You wouldn't be watching me had I stayed in that marriage. All right, distractions. I needed to be right where I need to be, and let's look at the options available. And so it was almost like I was okay. It was already destined or planned, and I was just going along. And I say that because I was very much paying attention to everything in that time frame. It was like I was out of my body, watching a play, watching me. And so but yet I was still in my body and present, but I was like, I was viewing what was going on in my life on several different layers and several different vibrations. So that's why I thought, when I kept hearing the song "Listen to Your Heart" and it kept getting messages, "Listen to your heart," I was like, well, that's for me. That's okay. So that's a nice little memory. And then it was like I had to turn to the cards. Sometimes if I'll pull a card just for clarification, because I was like, let me make sure it's not my mind chatter. So a dear friend of mine got this beautiful deck for me. It's called Magical Times Empowerment Cards by Jody Bergsma. It's got a cursive, so that's why I was trying to read. But isn't that beautiful? It is a very beautiful deck. So I asked for some clarifications with this deck. Guess what card I got? It's the love card. I don't know if you can see, the very first sentence says, "Listen to your heart." Listen to your heart. Embrace what makes you happy. There are 1 million reasons to love. Well, you know what? We are love. Love isn't an emotion or a feeling outside of us. It's who we are. Who we are. Love. But it cracked me up. Listen to your heart. I was like, okay, I get it now. I get it. That's the topic for the day. And then everything else just really fell into place. Once I sat down and started writing. And as a matter of fact, or I should say typing, because I know that anything that I write, I have to turn around and retype it anyway into the computer for a hard copy. So I just went right to the computer. And when I was done, I thought, wow, this is interesting. I'm going to add this to my Psychic Medium Awakening and Development course. Those of you who've taken the course, be prepared. You're going to get an update in the email. And for those of you who may not be aware, any courses that you take with me, if there's updates on them, then you will receive the updates as well. So it's something that always just stay in the loop with. And really the only ones you'd get updates with would be the ones that I channeled. The Atlantean Reiki, yes, I have a teacher. I have a teacher, and he, but this was, I think I first took Atlantean Reiki about, what is 2015? About 7 years ago. And so a couple years ago, guides came to me and said, this needs to be updated now because we're past 2012. Let's update this. So the first part is traditional, follows the tradition with my teacher, which is only one in the lineage. And then the rest is the rewrite. So from now on, of those of you who take Atlantean Reiki with me, they get updates with that. But the updates, I think it's pretty much done. The one that is still constantly, let's say, living and breathing and alive is a Psychic Medium and Awakening. Psychic Medium Awakening and Development course. Excuse me, I have a little tickle in my throat. This one, I had no intentions of creating, channeling, writing a psychic development course because there's so many out there. I was like, oh, there's so many out there. There's so many self-help books out. There's so many. People will be okay. But you have to listen. And it was just coming in really strong of sit down, just start writing will help you. And they have. They really have. And so then when I just wrote these couple of pages for today's show, they were like, now add this to, I call it PMED for short, but the Psychic Medium Awakening and Development course. So they're like, put that into the course later. But then it all comes together, and I was like, oh, I get it now. So beautiful. So let's give a little tidbit to this, or I'll share this with you. The art of listening. So you get to have a little bit of taste, so to speak, tidbit of what is in the Psychic Medium Awakening and Development course, the newest, hot off the press part. All right, so something that I had was brought to my attention a couple weeks ago, and usually sometimes the guides will have this week-long conversation about a subject, and there was one about intentions. Because I asked the guides about intention. I said, intention alone doesn't work, right? And we had great dialect, great conversation back and forth between the intentions. All right, so we're going to talk about intentions first. Intention alone does not help one in reaching their desired goals. Just like affirmations. Intentions, or how we say affirmations. Now affirmations, though, if you repeat it enough, what happens is it comes in your brain and becomes automatic, that you're not feeling it, and you got to make that manifest. All right, so if you just start shooting stuff off, out of your memory with no feeling, you're just saying words. All right, the biggest driver is our emotions, is coming from the heart, is feeling it. So intention needs attention and action in order to manifest your intention. So let's use this example. Let's use baking a cake as an example, all right? I intend to bake a cake. The intention alone does not bake the cake. You can sit there and intend it all day long. I can almost taste it. I want it now. Where is it? All right, no. The attention required is the process of making the cake. After mixing all the ingredients of the cake batter, then pouring the batter into the baking pan, it is now time to place the uncooked cake into the oven. Attention is still required in the cooking time of the cake. Even if you set a timer and then the timer goes off, the timer's not going to take the cake out of the oven. Action is needed to remove the cake from the oven. However, with attention and action, the cake is removed from the oven. And the process of making the cake is now manifested. So in order to manifest the intentions, you need to give the intention attention and some action. All right. So whether you would like some clear insight for maybe your own questions with experiences that you're going through, and even in helping others set intentions before each intuitive session. And here's a very powerful one. I am a clear and accurate channel. Feel that. Feel it. You feel that here, right here? I am a clear and accurate channel. This is a very powerful intention to begin your intuition work. I am receiving only divine truth from those who are for not only my highest and greatest, but for the universal highest and greatest. And I'll repeat that. I am receiving only divine truth from those who are not only for my highest and greatest, but also for the universal highest and greatest. Rather than allow images and impressions to free flow in and then struggle to make sense out of them, ask clear and specific. Ask for very specific information that you need. You can do that. You can ask for that. Don't try to manipulate with the specifics. I think a lot of people, okay. It's asking the questions is okay to be specific with. There shouldn't be any type of manipulation. It's the answers that we need to be careful with, that interpretation. All right, so be very specific with your questions, with any type of information you'd like to have further insight on. If you find yourself thinking any thoughts such as, am I doing this right? Or consciously thinking about anything other than receiving insight, you are not in the zone. So you can start off with your intentions really good, right? Your intention, we're starting off with that. All right? Pay attention now, though, to your thoughts. Are they wandering? Are they like, how long is this going to last? How long is this meditation for anyway? I'm hungry. What am I going to have to eat when we're done with this? What are we going to have for dinner? What's that noise? Hey! Come on. Raise your hand if you've been there. We've all done that. Whoop. So it's paying attention to your thoughts. All right? Slowing it down. Taking the action to just slow it down. And I find when you take deep breaths, it helps to slow it down. And you could say one thought per deep breath. You kind of just slow it down. Slow it down. Being in tune or on signal is really about focus and listening. You are not so much tuning everything else out, which is impossible, but rather you are turning your intention in. Did you get that? I'll repeat it. You're not so much tuning everything else out, but you are tuning your attention or turning your attention in. All right, tuning in within. Similar to when you become so absorbed in a good book that your surroundings fade away. You are still conscious. yet you are just extremely focused and engaged. It's that same type of energy. So if you notice that your logical mind is engaged, you're not in the zone. All right? So that's how you can tell the difference if you're in that zone. This is why learning to meditate is imperative to becoming successful at this work. Meditation and what type of work? The intuition, the development of your intuition. Even if you have no desire of becoming a professional psychic medium, intuitive, it's very much needed for your own growth and development. All right? That your own spiritual work. Now, meditation is listening. We all know that prayer is asking. And meditation is listening for the questions to our answers. Listen to your heart. Your sacred heart center I'm talking about here. Gaining command of your mind and learning focus will allow you to slow down the mind chatter that interferes with intuition. So in teaching my Psychic Medium Awakening and Development course, I have noticed that students do one of two things. And I even noticed this in my own development. Some students start off slowly and warming up to the signal and becoming more and more connected as they work. So the longer that they're giving the messages, the better and more focused and sharp it becomes. Others tend to get their best hits right away, right off the bat. And the longer and longer they stay in session, the more they slip off target. And so don't really try to define it. You know, when you're done, you're done. And that's it. And say that. The only way to know how this applies to you is to pay attention to your own intuitive sessions. All right? So, and yes, you should have intuitive sessions with your, you know, for you, with your guides. Oh. Excuse me. All right. So in intuitive sessions for others, here's the number one rule. Keep yourself out of the message. Keep yourself out of the message. You are only a clear channel. Do not analyze what you are receiving. The message isn't for you. The message is for the person who is receiving the message, right? So it doesn't have to make sense to you, because you may not know what in the world the guides are talking about, but the other person gets it. All it takes is one word to trigger a memory, and you don't have to understand what that word means, nor should you try to make that word make sense to you, thinking that's going to make sense to the other person, because you could actually complicate it and change the whole outcome of the message when you do that. So keep yourself out. Repeat, no matter how crazy it sounds, even if it's a word, if it's a phrase, go with it. Trust. When we begin to listen with our hearts rather than our heads or our minds, our whole world changes and becomes so much softer. And that's the command position. I'm going to talk about command and control. And I do have a video that discusses this on my YouTube channel. It's Goldylocks Temple of Healing on YouTube. You just type in Goldylocks T-O-H, because it's too long. So I have a Goldylocks Temple of Healing. Or Tiffany White. I think either one that you type in, you might be able to get to my YouTube channel. So, but I do have a video that talks specifically on command and control. So most of us were raised in cultures that value the head over the heart, and as a result, we place our own hearts below our heads in a sort of an inner hierarchy. Now this is the control position, with your mind as the pilot. All right? We may not, because it has been taught to us from such a young age, we're probably not even conscious of it until we start to feel an inner war or inner tug, struggle within ourselves. Then guess what's happening? All right? It's normal. It's good, especially in spiritual development and progress, to feel that tug, because what's happening is that you are knocking down those barriers. You're knocking down the illusion that you were taught on how to be with a small b. Because it's not really big. Alright, so what this means is that we tend to listen and respond from the neck up, often leaving the rest of our bodies with little or no say in most matters. This is a physical habit that we have been taught, which sometimes feels as ingrained as the way we breathe or walk. However, with effort and awareness, we can shift the energy back into our sacred heart center, listening and responding from this much deeper place of being. Being. The mind has a masterful way of imposing structure and order on the world, creating divisions and categories, devising plans and strategies. In many ways, we have our brains to thank for our survival on this planet. Our brains and our first three chakras, right? However, as it is so clear at this time, we also need the wisdom of our hearts, our sacred heart centers, if we wish to continue surviving in a much higher vibration of being. When we listen from our heart, the logical grid of the mind tends to soften and melt, which enables us to perceive the interconnectedness beneath the divisions and categories we use to organize the world. The mind is all about doing. And the heart is all about being. Think about even our conversations that we were taught to have in social settings. What do you do for a job? What do you do? You know, do you go to school? Do you work? What do you think of? What do you do? This is all you hear is do. How do you categorize your life? How do you describe your life? But you can be the most prestigious or be in the most prestigious position, job, and be absolutely miserable. And we've seen it. And it can be any job. You can be miserable. If you're unhappy in your job, you're not going to feel so proud and so happy to talk about what you do, because there's something missing. There is something missing, right? So, yes, or your mind controlling all your emotions. Yes, and unfortunately, a lot men were more susceptible to this, but women too. If you ever heard, don't be a crybaby, don't cry. Your emotions is a sign of weakness. Wow, you're just throwing us off balance. We are being thrown off balance with that type of illusionary control. Alright? That's what it is. With the heart as the pilot in the command position, and the mind is the co-pilot, our third eye pops open and allows the higher vibration of the combination of doing and being at the same time. And this is balanced being. This is balance. This is what we want. We want balance. This is what we need. This is who we are, divinely balanced beings. Notice human beings. We're not called human doings. We're called human beings. Practice listening. For a simple start, and here's a great exercise. Alright, and I'm going to go through this a little slow so that if you want to take notes, or if you want to just remember this so that you can practice the listening skills. Practice listening. Here's a simple way to start. Try sitting with a friend and asking her or him to tell you about her or his life at this moment for 10 minutes or more. Try to listen without responding verbally. Don't offer any suggestions or brainstorm options. Instead, breathe into your heart and deep down in your belly, listening and feeling instead of thinking. When you do this, you may find that it is so much more difficult to actually offer advice and much easier to identify with the feelings your friend is sharing. You may also find that your friend opens up more, goes deeper, and feels she or he has really been heard. If you also feel great warmth and compassion, almost as if you're seeing your friend for the first time, then you will know that you have begun to tap the power of listening with your heart. Isn't that beautiful? Empaths do this automatically, but sometimes it's confusing, knowing in whose energies, where's that coming from? But this is a very focused exercise, and it's really proves the connection that we all have, that very deep heart-to-heart connection, and how we can feel what's going on with each other. We do this anyway, instinctively. You walk into a room, what's the energy? You can tell someone's had an argument there. And it doesn't matter if the argument was a half hour ago. If they hadn't cleared that energy, you walk in and go, ooh, it doesn't feel very good in here. Or it just makes me want to leave, or puts me on edge. There's a reason why, right? So energy programs the area, what's going on. Energy is very much programmable, and you can leave an imprint. You really can. And so what imprint do you want to leave? You want to leave one of love? Leave one of love and healing. And I'll give you a little example. Those of you who may have watched, there's a couple of shows where I've mentioned the neighbors that live behind us. I might not like some of their actions, but I love their soul. And I wish them well, and always send them lots of love and healing in that direction, because I know that there was an illness that took place, and that maybe it was a lot of their life makes you stressful, and when you get so full of it, the only way to express and get rid of it sometimes is to take it out on everyone else. And I understand that because I am a healer, that it's a dumping area. Let's just spit it all out. And then I have to, okay, am I going to react or respond to this? If I react, I'm stooping down to that argumentative level. If I take some deep breaths and respond with love, yes, I did it. All right. And Monday, there was another snowstorm that came through here. It was, what was that name? Oh, Sparta, because I was joking. Sparta! Anyway, it was the snowstorm or winter storm Sparta came through. And southern Connecticut got the worst of it this time. We got 7 inches on top of what we already have. Yeah, hello. We won't see the grass at this point till May. Whatever. Anyway. So it was yesterday morning, was out. Before you go into work, you have to shovel yourself out of your driveway. You have to make shovel your paths, whatever. So it was snow blowing and shoveling and getting all that done. It was us and the neighbors around us, and then we also take care of a couple of neighbors, elderly neighbors around us, do the snow blowing for them. So it's so I was around the back back area and doing some paths for the dogs. And our neighbor, the fence, the chain link fence that divides us is I hate to say divide, but the chain link fence that's back there is literally, there's snow up to that length. It's like the fence is disappearing. All right. And so, and he has a nice driveway. I mean, they have a nice big driveway. And we couldn't understand why they plow the way that they do, but that's okay. Not everybody does things the same exact way. And we have to be understanding and compassionate about the way they do things, even if it's not the way you do it. All right. So he's running on his side along the side of the fence, throwing snow up and over the fence, not through the fence, up and over the fence. And two, we have a garden there. I mean, which is, it's buried. You know, we have a pile of snow there. So just add more snow onto our side. Yes, I caught myself. My immediate reaction was, what? What the? And I stopped. I caught myself. It's like, keep your mouth shut. Don't say anything. Turn around. Take slow, deep breaths. And I did. I was like, okay, really? Really? Where is he going to put the snow? We all are in the same position. We have snow on top of snow, on top of snow, on top of snow, and we don't know where to put it all sometimes. It's like, just patience. It's all going to melt eventually. But you know what? It's not permanent. Who cares? Let it go. You know what? Nature's very strong and hardy. Don't worry about my little arborvitaes that are getting buried. They're hardy. You know, it's part of nature. It's a survivalist. This is what we need to learn from nature, just to go with the flow. Okay. And I did. I actually got myself so calm and relaxed. It was like I was in this really deep meditation and came out of it. Just by instantaneously, and being outside, you know, and with all that water energy, which can make you feel like you're swimming in a vast ocean, where you can feel like you're being overcome by your emotions. But it's like, no, I'm still grounded. You know, I can't see the ground of the earth. Doesn't mean I can't connect to the roots underneath the earth. Absolutely, we're very much a part of the earth. So as soon as I grounded myself, anchored myself, found my anchor, the roots, and then back up high, the balance, all about the balance. And just let's zoom out too and see the big picture of it, not the small little blinders only picture. Who cares about what he's doing? Really? Take a deep breath. And I don't mean like who cares is to be mean. That's one of my, and sometimes we can say these phrases that just helps me to release. And because I do care so much, I do find that who cares, oh, I don't care, but I really do, is the vent. It's, I'm opening the vent now when I say who cares or I don't care. I really do, but I'm releasing the built up, the excess. Release, release, release. Okay, it's gone. Of course I know, I overcare. But I have to let some go to be balanced. That's what it is, right? You know, over emotional doesn't mean stop being it. Release some of it. Release some of that. Because the emotional is tied into that darkness, if you want to call it negative. So we have to bring some light into it to help bring us back to that state of balance, right? So, wow. Very, very powerful, huh? Good stuff. Yeah, so, oh, you see my, at this onk. Yeah, beautiful. I've been looking for one, and a dear friend, and when I say a friend, you know, it's you know, someone very special in my inner circle had found the link for me, because we were having a discussion about how hard it is to find really good onks, and I was like, yeah, like from the 70s, the really big ones, and Lo and behold, my friend found the link. And so I ordered it. And it was actually very inexpensive too. It's brass. It's a 4-inch brass ankh. Love it. Love it. Just I have bigger ankhs, in the healing room, but it's I wanted something that I could wear, and so it's like it feels good. And when this is another cute little tidbit I'll share with you. I when I got this and I wore this the first time after I smudged it and had it on the altar for a little bit, and so I was in the shower the next day after working a lot with that energy, because I had received it in the mail and I was really happy, and just and immediately, a lot of my guides, is that type of energy, the type of teaching. It goes so much further really than Egypt, but it's so all this wisdom was being flooded with it, so I had to just okay, let it even out. And so I was in the shower the next morning, and I look at the window. This is the second time it's happened. Not I think the second time was like in the fall, but now here we are in the winter, and there is a big beetle on the window. And your first reaction is to jump, but I was like, I learned the first time, because no one else saw the beetle but me. And fortunately, because if anyone else in the house sees the beetles or bugs like that, I have to save them before they get squished. So I was like, okay, wow, I get it. I love it. You want to know what Egyptian symbology, what a beetle stands for. So I knew it was a personal message for me. Thought it was absolutely beautiful. Thanked the beetle. And I was like, do I dare tell my husband about this? I don't want him to go in there and kill it. But I waited for a couple days. Didn't see it again. And I asked the husband, did you see the big beetle in the window? He goes, are we doing this again? He goes, I didn't find a beetle the last time. He goes, there's no beetle. Everything is fine. I was like, okay. I just knew. It's a spirit animal. You can start to see your spirit animals that come in and give you messages. And you can see it just as clear as day. Sometimes they manifest in a physical form, and then they're gone again. And it's just like, well, where's the physical body? Where did it go? But we used to be able to do that. Do you know that? Before birth and dying, we could come in and out of dimensions like this so very easily, and change form. Oh, we're going to Earth. Let's put our Earth suits on. We'll kind of come in this body. We're going to go into this planet or this system, so we'll manifest in this energy form. So and we could just come and go so easily, stepping in and out. And Edgar Cayce talks about this too, in great detail, how we were, even if we won't call it our light bodies. But this is when we had 12 strands of DNA. How many do we have now? Don't just say 2, because a lot of us have been working on increasing and restructuring our DNA. Many of us out there have more than 2 strands, and we've got to be very careful. Very careful. This is why with conventional medicine, because in the book of what the body looks like, it's 2 strands of DNA. You don't want them to pull us back down. I'm not saying avoid doctors. I'm saying be aware of what model they have to compare the rest of humanity with. Each and every one of us are different and unique. All right? We are increasing our strands of DNA. We are changing our DNA. This has already been verified and validated by science, has backed this up. All right? So just keep working on yourself. It's all part of know thyself. Sometimes it does take a long time, right? Where you feel like, who am I? That is the great question, isn't it? Well, who I am is part of the whole. We are all connected. We are one. And when we realize that each and every one of us are very much needed in the uniqueness that we are, then we can stop comparing, stop dividing, stop categorizing, and just enjoy and embrace who each and every one of us really are. All right? That's being, isn't it? All right. Whew. I love when they come through because it just, my whole body vibrates. It feels really good. All right. So, and then some people ask you, do you get really warm? Do you get really cold? It depends. Sometimes when healing energy, when I a healing session, I get very hot. But I can also tell, though, when my alien guides come in, they're very cold. Angel energy sometimes can be very cold too, depending. Those upper vibrations are cool. It's cold. So I can be going from hot to cold, cold, hot, and then it's like, okay. But it feels good. It's not an uncomfortable type of feeling at all. So it's just paying attention to how you feel. If you experience it differently, that's great. There's no right, there's no wrong. Just as long as it's what's going on with you. It's not a physical imbalance. It's just this is what happens when you're connecting with spirit. All right. So thank you so much for everyone taking the time to watch the show live, and for those of you who watch the show in archives, thank you so much for taking the time to watch the Spiritual Insight Show. I am Reverend Tiffany White, Sage Woman. I am very, very grateful to sit in sacred circle with each and every one of you. Please be sure again to check my website out, whitesagewoman.com, as well as truepsychicsnetwork.com. And I will be back on the airwaves live next week on TPN TV at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Thank you again. Many blessings to all. Namaste.